Hello, everyone. This is Samuel. Welcome to another Tech Talk by Samuel session. Today, I thought I'll talk to you about Amazon Mission Images, otherwise called as AMI. Well, when launching an EC2 instance, right? So, when launching an EC2 instance, obviously, the first thing that gets asked is to provide a name for the VM that will be launching. And the immediate next thing is select an Amazon Mission image. So this is what I'm going to talk about today. So an AMI is really a template document that contains information telling the would-be launched EC2 what the operating system it should have and the application softwares it needs to have on the root data volume of that would-be launched instance. All right. And there are four kinds of AMIs or four types from which we can the operating system and the application software that will go into the VM that will be creating. The very first one is, or the famous one is the Quick Start AMI. So the Quick Start AMIs, right? They really appear at the top of the list in the console, like you see. And when you start the process of launching the new instance, right? This is the first one you get to interact. And this quick start AMIs, right? They are a popular choice and they include various releases of Linux, as you see. They have versions of Windows, as you see. They also have Mac, as you see, and different versions of Linux like Ubuntu, Red Hat, SUSE Linux, and Debian, and a lot more. They also have some specialty images for performing some of the common operations like in other words, those operating system, they come with pre-installed deep learning software, or they come with the pre-installed database software in it. And generally, these AMIs are up to date and they're all officially supported. There are four types of AMI options we can pick from, and the Quick Start AMI is the first one. Now, let's look at the second one, the Marketplace AMI. So, for that, maybe we can click on Browse. These are the four different AMI options we have in front of us, and we just looked at the Quick Start AMI. And the second in the list that I want to talk about is the Marketplace AMI. These Marketplace AMIs they're like production ready images, and they are built, provided, and supported by industry vendors like SAP and Cisco and many more. All right. So here we have categories depending on our use case. We can actually go in and pick the AMIs of our choice. And I just went into DevOps, and there are AMIs like Fortinet. There are AMIs that come with IBM Security QRadar installed in it, and there are AMIs with plus Ubuntu for WordPress, therefore website hosting, on and on. So that's our marketplace. You got the point, right? So this is where the other software vendors, they build the software, install it in an OS, and then sell them as AMIs. They are like ready to launch, ready to use type, production ready. And then there are community AMIs. The one I'm showing you, that's community AMI. And we have like 1 lakh plus images available as community AMIs. And just like the name says, they are created and maintained by independent vendors, and they are usually built to meet a very specific need, right? And if you have a requirement that's going to need a custom combination of software resources, right? A lot of chances that you will get that in the community AMI. And then there is private AMI, the fourth one in the list I wanted to talk to you about. And in here, right, we can store images created by us, and that's for private consumption. All right. Why would you want to do that? Well, for instance, you want the ability to scale up the number of instances for your application, right? The custom built application, right? And let's say you've done a lot of changes to it and you want to scale up, right? So you can create an image or AMI out of the existing version of whatever is running in your environment and keep it as a private AMI. And anytime you want to spin up one more instance, right? You already have an AMI, so all that you have to do is just use that AMI and spin up an VM, and the new VM is just like the other VMs running in your environment. That's a most important and most common use case of private AMI. Other use case of private AMI is, let's say you want to have custom softwares, but you want that to be tested and you want the OS to be properly patched and a specific version of it running in it. So, you can roll that out within your organization. That's another good use case of private AMI. All right, I believe I was able to explain to you the different AMI options available for us to use when launching an EC2 instance. And one thing to remember is that these particular AMIs, they are available in a single region. All right. You can't use an AMI that belongs to another region and try to launch the instance in another region. That won't be possible. All right. So these AMIs are region specific. You might be able to find the same type of AMI in another region, but they come with a different AMI ID. All right. So these AMIs are single region specific. All right, I want to thank you for the time taken watching this video. I'll talk to you in another Tech Talk by Samuel session like this. Thank you and bye for now.